Okay, welcome back to my channel, May Between the Pages. My name is Taylor, and today we're going to be doing the Guess That Book for July. I know I'm late getting this up for you guys, and I apologize profusely for that. The end of June was just extremely busy for me, so I had no time to film, more or less edit, so I didn't get this up on time as I usually would, but that just means you guys had extra time to guess for June, so I guess you're welcome. For those of you who don't know, this is a series that I do on my channel where at the beginning of every month, or usually the beginning of every month, I release a video that gives you 5 hints for 3 different books. And you, in the comments down below, can try to guess the book that I'm hinting for. The elements of the book that you're guessing are the title, which you get 2 points for if you get it correct, and it can be not the first book in a series every once in a while, so be aware of that. If you get the title of the book itself, then you get 2 points. Then you get 1 point for the name of the series if it's part of a series. If it's not part of a series, then that point is not available for that book. And you also get a point for guessing the author. So if the book is part of a series, you can get a total of 4 points. If the book is not part of a series, you can get a total of 3. Then every month I go through the comments and keep track of who has how many points. And at the end of the year, I'm going to be giving away a book to the person who has the most points. You guys are incredibly good at this. I say this every month and say I'm going to have to make it harder. And I think last month I did succeed in making it harder for some people. But you guys are really nailing these guesses so far. So we'll see how you guys do this month if you continue your streak. The first book is not part of a series, so you can get a total of 3 points. Hint number 1 is that this is a coming-of-age story. Hint number 2, which is a very big one, is that it is an inspiration for a Ghibli film that hasn't come out yet, but it's the inspiration for it. Hint number 3 is that a major theme in this book is the interconnectivity of the world and of humans. Hint number 4 is that it's a classic. And hint number 5 is that it's one of my favorite books of all time. Book number 2 is part of a series, so you can get a total of 4 points. Your first hint is that this series has a dumb as fuck main character. Number 2, this series deals with demon realms. Number 3, which is a very big hint, is that one of the main plot threads in this entire series, so far at least, is a revenge story. Hint number 4 is that in this installment, the quality of the side characters really improves, and in my opinion, make this dumb as fuck main character much more lovable. And hint number 5 is that this is a military fantasy. Book number 3 is not part of a series, so you can get 3 points for this one. Your first hint is that this is a very hyped book, but in my personal opinion, this one is actually worth the hype. Number 2, this book is a historical fiction, I believe. That's what it's classified as. Book number 3 is that we have a lot of queer main and supporting characters in this story. Hint number 4 is that the ending of this book made myself and many others cry like a baby. And hint number 5 is that this book contains a dual timeline. Adding up all the possible points for July, you can get 10 points this month. Now, for everyone's favorite part, let's go through the answers for June. The first one was Monstress by Marjorie and Takeda. Technically, the name of this first installment is Awakening, but I accepted just the name Monstress for the name of the installment and the name of the series. For me, it just felt like, as it's a comic book, and basically the name everyone uses for it is Monstress. I haven't heard anyone refer to any of the installments by their individual names. It's totally fine if you just said Monstress in your comment last month. And this is an absolutely stunning comic series. The art style is just, it's gorgeous. I'm trying to find a not like bloody scene. It's also very bloody. There's lots of war and death and destruction. But here's a big picture here. The ring light is not letting me show you the details, but the art style is gorgeous. I love this series. I was actually convinced to read it by Sophia over on Fantasy Book Addict, and this is her main love in life is this series. So if you haven't picked it up, highly recommend that you do. Also highly recommend that you go check out Sophia. I'll have a link down below. But this is a really great series. I haven't read, I think there's 5 out right now? Yes. I've read the first 5, but the 6th one is out and I haven't read it yet. But at first I wasn't really sure I was going to fall in love with this because this is the type of world that just throws you in. You just have to figure it out as it goes along. But the story is so interesting, and the way that it's developed is not what you would expect. It's a breath of fresh air full of matriarchal societies and morally gray characters who live by their own moral code. So, highly recommend it. Book number 2 from last month was The Deep by Rivers Solomon. This is such a cute little hardback. I love it. I just love holding it so much. This is a stunning book that is based on a song actually called The Deep. I can't remember the name of the artist right now. I'll be sure to put it on the screen. But this follows the concept of what if the pregnant women that were thrown overboard during the transatlantic slave trade, what if they gave birth in the ocean and a society of mermaids was to, come from this tragic event. This book deals with the continuation of stories, intergenerational trauma, and how those two things can be really, really intertwined. But it's gorgeously written. I fell in love with it as soon as I read it. I haven't reread it, but I really need to, because I think this is one of those books that upon every reread, you're going to get something new out of it. So it's stunning. If you haven't read it, highly recommend. And book number 3 for June was Spy Family by Tatsuya Endo. Again, like Monstress, as this is a comic series, if you just said Spy Family, I accepted that for the full 4 points. If you said Spy Family, which is part of the Spy Family series, that's fine. I love this manga series so much. Also, I promise I'm not holding it backwards. This is the Japanese version, so, it's flipped. My husband told me that I needed to read this book at the beginning of last year because he read the series when it first came out, like I said, early last year, and he told me, you have to read this book. This is everything that you love. This is familial friend group chaos trying to, masquerade and as being normal in the world. It's everything you love. And he was absolutely right. This series cracks me up. We follow our main character, Lloyd, who is basically James Bond, and he needs a family for the new mission he's been assigned. So he goes to find a child and a wife that he can pretend, are his family so he can carry out this mission. And the child and the wife that he ends up getting are interesting. They have secrets of their own, and it's just this really wonderfully dysfunctional family, and I love it. Highly, highly recommend it. There's also an anime version that is currently being released on Netflix, so if you want to take it in via that medium as well, it's very close to the books. They stay really close to this. So yeah, this is wonderful. If you haven't read it, please, please, please do. That concludes Guess That Book for July. Go ahead and leave all of your comments down below with your guesses for this month. Also, let me know how you did last month. I love interacting with you guys every month with this challenge. It always brings me joy. Thank you to everyone who comments every month, and I look forward to seeing your comments this time around. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and click that bell. I'd love to have you as part of this community, and I appreciate it. But for now, I'm gonna head out. Jane!